In this video, I'm going to show you the 3 types of gas stove that I prefer to use when I do the backpacking tours. My name is Matti. I'm working as a dog musher and nature guide up in northern Sweden in Jokkmokk. It's just above the Arctic Circle. Together with my partner Stina, we run a small guide and dog sled company, and outdoor life is actually what we're doing for a living. But first of all, I need some coffee, so let's make some coffee. I really enjoy coffee. Anyway, in this video I'm going to talk about 3 different categories of gas stoves that I'm using on my backpacking tours. The first stove we're going to look at is this BR3000T. It's a very tiny titanium gas stove that you mount on the top of the gas canister like this. The good thing with this one is when you fold it, it becomes super compact, and they are super cheap. They are 200 crowns or 20 euro. Only 26 gram, so super lightweight. I would say the problem with this stove is that the flame is just focused on the middle of the pot, so it's super difficult to make pancakes or something like that, for example. I also think, I'm not for sure, but I think they consume more gas per liter water that you're boiling. So I think it's not so efficient if you look at gas consumption. That's about the tiny one. Then we need some more coffee. The second stove, Soto Windmaster. This is top-mounted gas stove also. You put it on the top of the tube. This have an inbuilt wind protection up here, as you see. And it have 4 legs for when you're putting the pots. But you can also take it away like this if you want to pack it more better. But I never do that, more or less never. This is 87 grams, so it's 3 times more heavy than the small tiny one that we had before. And this is also a little bit more bulky to pack when you put it in the backpack. But I would say it's still very small. Soto Windmaster costs around 1,000 crowns or 100 euro when you buy it. And probably use it for 10-15 years or something. So it's not so expensive per year you're using it. The flame of this one is really good. It's wider, so it's spreading out on the pot and you can adjust it. So it's really slow cooking. So you can make food in the pot without burning the food in the bottom. Because a lot of other stoves like this one, for example, or the one I looked at before, they have more concentrated flame in middle of the pot, and you get black burned food in middle of the pot usually when you do it. I would say they are much more made for cooking water. The Soto Windmaster is made for cooking food. If I go for a solo backpacking tour or a backpacking tour with just 2 person, Soto Windmaster would be the stove I would bring. Now we look into the last category. And in that category, I actually have 2 stoves. I have one stove that I've been using for a long time. And now you see the whole system changed. This is stoves that's standing on the ground, and you have the gas canister on the side. As you see, this was what I was using when I made my coffee right now, just recently. We start with the first one, and that's Primus Express Spider. This is a stove that will have 3 legs standing on the ground. The gas gets preheated up here. So the gas goes in, get preheated, and then go in and burn. And you add the canister here beside. So you can either have the gas canister standing like this, or you can put it upside down if you want the gas to come out a little bit better from the stove when it's empty. It's also easier to put something over it, to heat it if it's a little bit colder. So that's one thing I like with this kind of stoves. I use these stoves as standing on the ground when I'm cooking for groups, because then I have bigger pots and I want it more stable, closer to the ground. If I putting a 5-liter pot on top of this, and that's standing on top of here. A 5-liter pot here, you just put a little bit and all the pasta or the soup or whatever is on the ground. With this one, you can much more easy put a bigger pot on top of it. If it's still not stable, you can find 2 rocks and put on the side, and it will work. So this is much better when you're working with big pots and cooking for bigger groups. It's even good if you go canoeing and if you're 2-person, because this is really stable. So this Primus Express Spider is around 200 gram, but if I'm out with a group of 5-10 person, I need 2 or 3 of them for a group. So then it's not heavy at all anyway. And then you put big pots on them, and you can cook for the whole group on few stoves. Very stable, very reliable. This one I've used for 15 years minimum, and it just goes and goes. No issue with this at all. Primus know how to make gas stoves. Primus don't know how to make multi-fuel stoves, but that's another video. But they really know how to make gas stoves. This is produced in Europe. It is 900 crowns or 90 euro for this stove. The last years I started using another one, Primus Gravidity Backpacker Stove. This is 50 grams more heavy, so it's 200 grams. It has 4 legs, and if you're using big pots, this makes difference. The height is the same, but the diameter of the surface where they're standing, this is much more stable. The flame here is also much more spread out in the bottom of a bigger pot. So this is easier to use for cooking in big pots without burning the food. As you see with this one, it's more focused on the middle. So this is more difficult to cook with when you do big pots with stew or pasta or things like that can burn, porridge for example. This one much easier to adjust the flame a little bit, put it in a very low level, and it's really good for cooking. The price for this stove I don't really remember, but I write it down here somewhere. This I only used for 2 years, so I can't really tell you that it will last forever. It has the same, the gas go here and get preheated before it start burning. Anyway, so far I'm really happy with this, and I can highly recommend this one for families instead of this one, because 50 grams more and you get much better stove for cooking. If you don't have this ultimate stove, don't be sad for that, because the best stove you can have is actually the stove you are using, and you will not be more happy if you buy more equipment. I have tried that, and of course I'm happy, but I'm not happy because I have a lot of gears. Maybe I am a little bit more happy, but not very much more happy. So if you don't have this Soto Windmaster or whatever, don't sit home and waiting for it. Just start going with the equipment you have. If you have a different type of stove at home that you like and that you're using, the difference between your stove and this stove are not super big. But so don't run away and buy tons of new gear. It's better that you're using what you have and spending time in nature. That's maybe the most important advice. If you like this video, I think you should head over to this video, and I have some interesting information about different pots and a different material of the pots. See you next video. Ciao!